Good evening, everyone. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. We will be starting momentarily. I'm just waiting on some persons to join. I'm just waiting on some more persons to join, and we will start momentarily. In the meanwhile, I'm going to get the links for the register and the evaluations, and I will post them in the chat for you guys to fill out. All right, good afternoon again, everybody. So the links for the register and the evaluation are posted in the chat. You can go ahead and fill out the register, the Google form for the register in the meanwhile. I am just going to check on the presenter and hopefully we can start momentarily. All right. All right, good afternoon again, everybody. All right, so I'm currently waiting on the presenter to join us. I'm hoping it won't be much longer, but in the interim, I am just going to do a little preamble about job fair. So, can I get some responses, whether you type them in the chat or you can open your mics? Is there anyone that's aware of job fair? Right. Sorry about that pause. Okay, so I see some responses. I see yes, and I see one that says no, not aware. Okay, all right. So just to give you guys some background on job fair, job fair is held every year, and we have been having it for a very many number of years. I'll probably say, for example, say some 30 odd years, possibly more, possibly less, but let's just put it at 30. Right. So job fair is held March of every year, and it's an opportunity where final year students would get the opportunity to be interviewed by companies, and hopefully, provided they are successful after the interview and the assessment, then they will be placed in a job. So job fair usually is targeted for final year students, but last year, or rather, well, for this year, anyway, I should say, not last year, for this year, March, we were aiming to have job fair open to second and third year students as well. But of course, as we all know, due to COVID, we had to cancel job fair. And so we still have that idea to open job fair generally to include second and third year students. But for now, I can't really say much about that right now, as we are still in the planning stages of job fair. But what I can say is that for now, job fair for next year, 2021, will be online. All right. And which reminds me, since I'm talking about job fair, I'm going to put in the chat the link where you guys can go and register. All right, so at this point, I'm going to safely assume right now that job fair will be up for final year students. As I said, we're still in the planning stages, so we aren't quite sure if we're going to open it up again to second and third year students. That was our plan and our hope for this year, March. But however, due to COVID, we had to abort the plan. But, you know, as said before, job fair next year, 2021, will be online. And hopefully, we haven't thrown the idea to include other year groups out. But as far as I'm aware, usually, as said before, going back to the background, usually it was for fourth year students, or rather final year students anyway. But we understand that some students may be in their fourth year, but they're not final year. And so we kind of had to extend the reach, so to speak. So the aim was to have job fair open to second year, third year, fourth year, and finalizing students. And job fair is also open to graduates as well. Well, okay, I see a question here. Is it full-time employment? Well, I can't definitively answer that. That would be dependent on what the companies would need. So it doesn't necessarily have to be full-time. It could be for internship. It could be for part-time. It could be for 6 months. It could be for 3 months. It could be for a project. So that, so what I just said really is just to answer your question. So it's not necessarily full-time. Yes, Daniel, I see your question. Yes, this session is supposed to be on driver's license. As I said, I am just buying some time until the presenters come. So in the meanwhile, I'm just putting job fair out there so that you guys are aware. All right. All right, no problem, Daniel. Okay, I see Shanika Henry saying, okay, because full-time students as myself would have an issue. Okay, do you care to explain what exactly you mean by that, Shanika, just so I'm clear before I answer your question? So you can feel free to type that in the chat. All right, right, so apologies again for the late start, guys. I am anticipating the presenter. I'm not sure what's happening on their end, but I'm hoping they will not be much longer. So in the interim, I am just discussing job fair with you guys until the presenter comes. All right. So Shanika, I would need you to expound a little bit more on your points so that I can clarify, or if you want, you can message me privately. All right. So just to be clear, job fair is held March of every year. Next year's job fair, March 2021. It will be online, and also instead of one day, usually it's a one-day affair. The job fair that we have coming up will be actually 3 days. So as I said, we're still in the planning stages, so I can't really say or give away too much, right? But just note that it will be for 3 days in March. Let me just give you an idea. It's usually in the second week of March every year, and usually it's the second Friday of March. But due to COVID and everything being done online, we have decided to expand the fair a little bit. So we'll be having a 3-day affair. So tentatively, you guys can put down in your calendars the second week of March. And I'm assuming it will be the Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of that second week in March 2021. And as well, can I see a show of responses in the chat, or if you want to open your mics, show of those who are in their fourth year or who are finalizing?
Sir, I'm finalizing.
Chantel here for final year.
Okay, who was the person that said finalizing?
Shanae Smith.
Okay, Shanae. Okay, noted. All right. As I said before, to be on the safe side, I'm going to post the job fair registration link in the chat. But to be on the safe side, I'm going to allow fourth year and finalizing students to register. As I said, I'll have to confirm first if we are still going to go ahead with our plan to include other year groups. But if we are, we're going to include other year groups. As I said, the plan for March this year was to have had second and third year students on board as well. But I would have to confirm before releasing any further information. So I will safely post the Jaffa registration link in the chat, and I welcome all fourth year, fifth year, sixth year finalizing students to register. And should you guys need to email me or have any questions about Jaffa, I will also post my email in the chat as well, so that you guys can direct your questions and your queries to me. Or if you wish, while the session is going on, you can private message me. All right, good afternoon, everybody. I am so sorry for the very late start. Apologies on my end. I made a error with sending the presenter the link, but regardless, our presenter is here and she's ready and raring to go. So I'm just going to introduce her very briefly, and the floor is hers for the remainder of the session. Just to remind you guys as well, the links for the register and evaluation are posted in the chat. Should you have any questions or any queries, you can feel free to private message me. And so without further ado, our topic today is who needs a driver's license? So today in this session, we expect to learn or relearn or become more familiar with the process of obtaining a driver's license, and more so the importance and relevance of a driver's license, and more so this from a career perspective. And so without further ado, I'm going to be introducing our speaker, and she is in the person of Miss Cardia Sifas. And so Miss Sifas, she is a team member of the Taxpayer Education Unit at the St. Andrew Revenue Center. So this department or this unit falls under the Tax Administration Jamaica, or AKA Tax Office. And so she is representing her team today from the tax office, and I'm sure we all are looking forward to what she'll be presenting to us today. All right, so Ms. Sifas, like all of her colleagues, has had formal training at the tertiary level. Ms. Sifas, who will be sharing with you this afternoon, is a graduate of the University of the West Indies, my alma mater as well, and she holds a bachelor's degree in Spanish and a postgrad in modern language and education, and she has in excess of 15 years experience in the field. And just to give a tidbit as well, their team's motto is empowerment through education. And so without further ado, I hand over to our speaker and presenter, Ms. Cardia Sifas, who will be empowering us and educating us on the importance of obtaining a driver's license, more so as it relates to our career growth and development, and as we progress through the world of work rather. So without further ado, our speaker, Ms. Sifas.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Francis. Good afternoon, everyone. All right.
Good afternoon.
Okay. And how are we today?
It's doing good.
Hope we're all staying safe. All right. So today I'm going to share with you the necessity of driver's license. So as we were charged with this responsibility in order to disseminate information, just to educate you a little about who needs a driver's license. So my presentation today, I will be sharing screen, so you'll be able to just follow with me. And after which, we will be able to take questions and we can have interaction afterwards, okay? All right, so my presentation. Okay. All right, hold on a moment. Mr. Francis, are we here? Mr. Francis, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, all right. So my screen, you're the host. I'm gonna ask you to just give me that option to share my screen.
Oh, okay. Let me just do that quickly.
All
right, I've made you a co-host. All right, so you can go ahead and try sharing the screen now.
Are we able to see my screen now? Can you see it?
Not as yet.
Not as yet. Okay, are we here now?
Yes, miss.
Okay, go ahead. All right. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our driver's license. And today, my objective is what is a driver's license? Requirements for obtaining driver's license, and actually who needs a driver's license. So we will look at what is called a driver's license. So a driver's license is a permit which allows you to operate a motor vehicle legally. All right. So that's the permit that we use in the operation as we do driving. So in order for us to be driving legally on our roads, we must possess a driver's license. All right. So we have three types of driver's license. We have one for motorcycle, we have private driver's license, and general driver's license. So for motorcycle, so for the motorcyclists, we have persons operating just motorcycle. They can always get this driver's license as well. And then we have private driver's license, which comes into two classifications. So we have automatic transmission only, and we have automatic and standard. The standard, so we have the latter, which persons will be allowed to drive a car, SUV, van, or any other automobile, and that will be indicated on the back of the driver's license. For the general, the person who obtains this license is allowed to drive all of the above, and trucks, public passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles with proper documentation from Transport Authority. And when we're talking about proper documentation, we know that if you operate a public transportation vehicle, you should have your license from ITA along with your, as we said, road license, you should have that. You should have your commercial license from ITA as well in order to operate in this manner. Okay. What are the requirements though for obtaining a Jamaican driver's license? So first, an individual should obtain a provisional driver's license, which is called a learner's license, and that is valid for 1 year. Secondly, we have complete a driver's license or private license form. These forms can be obtained from our website, which is www.jamaicatax.gov.jm, or you can actually collect one of these forms from any tax office which is convenient to you. The purchase of an examination fee at any tax office, and once you have all of this in place now, you would take the completed form with 3 certified passport size photographs to the examination depot or the Island Traffic Authority. All right, so you're going to take this there. When you go, the procedure has changed a little bit. So the new procedure is that once you take along with you your learner's license, your completed application form, whether it is for a private driver's license or for general driver's license, or if it is for motorcycle license, you will take the application, the completed application, along with 3 passport size photographs and the examination fee. When you take this to the Island Traffic Authority, you will be given a date. So you make the appointment first before you will actually go to sit the exam, which is the written test, and to do the roadworthy test, which is a driving test. All right. Upon a successful completion of the written and road test, a date will be given to the individual for which they should go to the tax office for them to finish the process in terms of obtaining the driver's license. When you come to the tax office now, what is expected? So when the date is given for you to visit the tax office for the collection, when you visit the tax office for the collection, you will need to complete the driver's license form there now. You will pay the applicable fee. When we're talking about the applicable fee now, if it is that you had applied for a general driver's license, the applicable fees that you would pay for a general, so it depends on the application. So driver's license for motorcycle, driver's license for general or private, you pay accordingly. All right. One thing we must notice that the driver's license is normally valid for 5 years. And sometimes you may look on it for your first license and you'll be saying that I'm not getting a 5 full year, but you get it for 5 birthdays. So what they count is from your next birthday to 5 years beyond. All right, so you might probably get 4.5 years, but it is 5 birthdays, and that is the first, and that would be the issuing of your first driver's license. Further to that, when you have reached a section where you are now, where the 5 years has passed and your driver's license is now expired, and you need to do a renewal, you will get your 5 full years. There are conditions to the rules as well. There are persons who may be visiting overseas and they need to renew their driver's license probably a year, or probably they need to renew the driver's license before they leave. In our policy from tax administration, it states that you can renew the driver's license 30 days before the expiration. Once you are opting to renew your driver's license outside of that period, you will have to sign to a legal form to say, accepted to I have accepted this notion that the renewal of this driver's license will be for 4 years and not 5 years. So there's this one exception that we have in the renewal process in the tenure. So for 5 years, it's a normal for the renewal of 5 years. But outside of that, you will have to sign legally that I am giving up 1 year. All right? Who needs a driver's license though? So any competent individual who wishes to operate a motor vehicle, so whether it's car, whether it's SUV, whether it's motor truck, these persons are required to have a driver's license. So these persons may be operating whether for personal or for professional use. So those persons need a driver's license. Some persons may probably be incapacitated where they no longer can drive, but they still renew their driver's license because they use it as a form of identification. And we know that we may be conducting businesses, whether it is with private sector or with the public, once we are required to present an identification, we can use our driver's license as one form. Okay? So when we're talking about personal use, operating a motor vehicle for personal use, what does this mean? It is that for personal use, we have our motor vehicle for convenience. It eases the going from point A to point B. Not everybody like taking taxis and not everybody like going on the bus, but we know that sometimes we will have to do this. But I know that for new persons, we have individuals just leaving tertiary education, and we know that you will be venturing into the working world now. We know that based on your choice of career, you may need your motor vehicle for personal use, and you may also need it for your job, because it depends on the field that you will be engaged in. You may need it for one or two reasons, or you may need it as a combined. All right. So we're talking about no hustle and bustle and transportation, and for recreational use, you want to go, you want to invite some friends, you know, then all right, we invite a friend, we're going to the beach, we're hopping our motor vehicle and we're going to the beach. All right. So these are recreational uses. So we have to have our driver's license. All right, because we don't want to be stopped by the security forces, the police officers, and then when we are asked to present the driver's license, we do not have it, because remember that, as we said, sometimes there are consequences for not following our laws of Jamaica, right? Okay. So for professional use, some jobs may require you having a motor vehicle, and it is sometimes it is a requirement. So when we are talking about that, you may be engaging in sales, insurance, you may be engaging other jobs that you are classified as traveling officers. For traveling officers, you will definitely need a motor vehicle, because there are certain allowances or benefits attached to these job functions, but you will have to have a motor vehicle, and hence you will need your driver's license. All right, so let's move down to the applicable fees and rates. So for the provisional driver's license, it is now $1,800. General driver's license, $7,200. Private driver's license, $5,400. Motorcycle driver's license, $4,140. And for substitute driver's license, $4,140. For the driver's license examination fee, it's $3,240. So you may be asking, why do I need a driver's license? You may need a substitute driver's license for more than one reason. You may lose your driver's license. So if it's a case where you have lost your driver's license, you need to report it to the tax office and follow the procedures that will be handed down by the officer. So you will need to go through the process and you pay for a driver's license for you to get a substitute. You may also require a substitute license because you may have a name change. You may get married and you need to add your married name to it. You can also come to do the update and then you apply for a substitute driver's license to show your correct name, right? If you want change of address as well and you want to update the driver's license, then you will have to pay for a substitute to add that information to it. Point to note though, the provisional driver's license in terms of, I know I have gone ahead and explained to you what the requirements are, but for the drive, you will also need the fee, and the driver's license examination fee is $3,240. This, however, is not available online in terms of the purchase, but we have added one of our newest function online in order to actually pay for the driver's license. So for new driver's license, you won't have this access to pay for the driver's license online, but you will be able to pay for renewal. All right, so this is one of our latest added feature to our online accessibility. You will be able to pay for your driver's license. You just need to have your driver's license. And so once you have created an online portal where you can have myriad of access to our TJ portal, you log in, you put your TRN, it asks you for your date of birth, and it asks you for the control number. And this is accessible for persons renewing their driver's license. So once it is a first license, you will not have this access. But in terms of a renewal, you don't have to come into the office now. In terms of making the payment at the cashier, it can be done online. All right, there are other features as well in terms of driver's license. But what I want you to note, I want to note with you that we have a question and answer section on our portal. So when you visit our website, you can scroll down to the publications on the motor vehicle and driver's license, and you can click on our questions and answers. So in the event that you want to probably try to remember something that was said today, you can always visit our website. All right, we have our pages, we have our Twitter pages, so you can always contact us. We have, just a minute, please. Let me just give you a part of our, so you know that you can reach us. You know, we have our Facebook page, we have our Twitter page, which is TAJ, follow at taj.gov.jm. We have our WhatsApp line, and we also have, let me give you all the information here. Just a moment, please. All right, so all right, so then our page, as I said, our WhatsApp line is 1 Oh, so we can always, so let me share this screen with you. Are you able to see the contact information now?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, so we have 1-888 tax help. So it's 1-888-829-4357. So we have tax help at taj.gov.gm. And from the internet, so we know you can always browse on our webpage from any one of your search engines, which is www.jamaicatax.gov.gm. All right, and at our Facebook page, www.facebook.com Jamaica Tax. And our Twitter, follow us at Jamaica Tax. All right, so this is merely what you need to know about driver's license. I'm going to open the floor now, that in the event that you have any questions and answers, you can always throw them at me now. All right, so do we have any questions?
Hi, afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon.
I'm Senika. I came on late.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I was at work. Is it possible to tell me what is the procedure now to get at least a learners or something like that?
All right. So for a learner's license, and you must be 17 years, at least 17 years of age to obtain the learner's license. What you will now do, you are required to present 2 passport size photograph. So it is now, so it has changed. So it's now 2 passport size photograph signed by the JP. You'll buy your examination fee at the nearest tax office. You will go straight to ITA to make the appointment now. All right, so the learner's license now, you're gonna take along with you the 2 passport size photograph. You will purchase your examination fee at the nearest tax office and you go straight to the examination depot to make your appointment. Your appointment is that you will be sitting and you will be conducting, you will have to do the written test. Once you have been successful, your results will be in a sealed envelope and they will send you straight to the tax office for you to present that envelope to the relevant officer who will actually start the process and will direct you to the cashier. You will pay for it there and then you'll collect your learner's license. So it has no change. It has no change where you used to just come to the tax office and just make your payment at the tax office. You have to go to ITA and do that written exam.
Okay, thanks much.
You're
So
welcome.
this exam that you're referring to, does it eliminate the written exam when you're actually doing the original license, driver's
No,
license?
no,
It doesn't?
it will not eliminate it. Once you have gone through that process, in order for you, when you're ready now, when you're road ready, you're road worthy now and ready for that, for the driver's license now, you will have to sit that exam again. Just to ensure, and they are doing this just to ensure that you keep abreast of the road traffic laws, and to ensure that you're abiding by them and you know them because you need to know them in order to be granted the driver's license.
Excuse me, Mr. Clark, you said we have to renew the license again. We'd have to do the written test again to renew the license?
No, not for a new renewal, but you will have to do the test again when you're going to apply for the driver's license. Remember, the learner's license now would have been the first stage. So you will have to get a learner's license now before you actually get the driver's license.
Right.
So now the process is that for the learner's license, you will be taking the written test. And when you are successful in that, you will now proceed to the tax office, and the directions will be given to you. So you go straight to the tax office, and then based on the information that is sent to the tax office, the learner's license will be processed. You pay for it there, and it is handed to you. Now, when this year has passed and you are ready now to do the examination for you to obtain a driver's license now, these are the procedures. You will have to do the road test along with the written test again. Are we clear on that?
Okay.
Is
Oh,
there
I
any?
miss. Oh,
Go ahead.
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, O'Shane.
Good afternoon. I think a question was asked in the chat, and I have the same question. What if you're renewing your learners? Do you have to do the exam?
All right. So for the renewal of learners, once you have gone ahead, because what happens is that the renewal of learners, it takes the same fashion in which you have applied for the first one. So for
Yeah, come in.
so for the learner's license, the process, you will have to do this process over and over again. So if it's a case where you have exhausted that 1 year and you haven't applied for the driver's license, and now you're ready to apply for the driver's license, you have to have a valid learner. So you will have to do the process over. So the process is the same once you are getting a new learners.
Okay, so all right, I understand. That means for me renewing my learners, I would have to do the test.
Yes, you will have to do the written test again.
All right.
Any more questions?
Oh, Mr. Fest, could you just remind us of the prices? Mr. Fest, hearing me?
Go ahead now, Mr. Francis.
Right. I was asking if you could just go back on the prices.
Okay, yes, I can always go back for you. All right. So for provisional driver's license, so that $1,800 that you would have paid this at the tax office, and that is when the individual comes with the seal envelope and it is processed by the officers and sent to the cashier. So once you go to the cashier, you pay this 1,800. And this is after you have successfully completed the test. For when the driver's license examination fee now, you will have to purchase this before you go to make the appointment to do the test. Right? So what you would need for this is just your TRN. So take your TRN to the nearest tax office and you pay for the driver's license examination fee, which is $3,240.
Miss,
Go ahead.
I'm asking on behalf of somebody in the chat. They're asking where they can get the book
Okay.
to prepare for the test.
Okay, so the books are normally sold. You can get them in the bookstores, or you can normally get it at some pharmacies. So you may be able to get it in the bookstores or some pharmacies.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Miss,
Go ahead.
Miss, what if my learners has expired for a couple months and I'm ready to apply for my driver's license? Will I have to renew the learners.
Yes, you will have to renew the learners because one of the requirements to obtain the driver's license is that you should have a valid learner. So you should have a valid provisional driver's license, which is called learners.
Okay, miss.
Yes, so you'll have to renew it. Any more questions? All right. There's another thing that I would sometimes, I was listening for this question, but I'm not hearing anyone asking. I know sometimes you would have been asking, what if someone, has returned home from overseas and has their driver's license and wishes to obtain a Jamaican driver's license? How is that done? You know, I was listening for a question, but I'm not hearing. So let me just go ahead and give the information. So in the event that we have an individual either migrating or they are holder of overseas driver's license and they wishes to apply for a Jamaican driver's license, the process would be the same, except this person will not be required to have a provisional driver's license. So the requirement is that this person would have to have the completed application form, the 3 passport size photographs certified by a JP, and along with their driver's license, their valid driver's license, and they will still have to pay for the examination fee. So the only thing that would have been exception to the rule is that they would not require a provisional driver's license.
Miss, can they drive with their overseas license?
Yes, they can. They can drive with their overseas license here in Jamaica.
Okay.
Any other questions?
If you wanted to, if you're per se going on vacation overseas, could you use your license over there, or would you have to apply for some sort of license to drive up there?
And I was listening for that question as well. All right, so we also issue international driver's license, which is normally valid for a year, or what it does, it is valid up to the duration of your Jamaican driver's license. So if you're going overseas and you know that you're going to drive, you should apply for international license here. What you do, you take in 2 passport size photograph. These, you don't have to have them certified, all right? So you come with 2 passport size photograph, your driver's license. When you come to the tax office, you will be given a form, which is the application for international permit. You complete that form and the international is given to you, all right, free of cost. It is free of cost, so you don't have to pay for that. All right.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Do we have any more questions?
No, Miss.
Go ahead. right, so I'm just checking the chat to see if I have missed out on any of the points that you wanted to get clarification on. So we have gone through the extension of the learner's license, and yes, the issue of where we can get the resources. Okay, all right, so. Are you hearing me?
Yes, Miss.
Okay. Do we have any more questions?
No, Miss.
Okay. All right. So if we have no more questions, so I am, as Mr. Francis would have introduced me and explained where my location is. If you feel, you can feel free to contact us. And any other thing that probably you're not, if you check on the website and you need any clarification, you can always call our helpline, or you can actually use any one of the communication channels, and we will be able to make the verifications for you. All right, but if we have no other questions, this would have been the end of my presentation. So I will now hand over back to the host, Mr. Matthew Francis.
All right, thank you so much for that presentation, Ms. Sifas. Very informative, very proactive as well. You are very proactive in your approach. Thank you as well for the information you have provided for us. I'm sure we are all much clearer on the procedure and the processes for obtaining and getting a driver's license. And so I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to come and to speak to us and to impart this information to us. And so without further ado, thank you again. Thank you to your team for coming out. And hopefully all being well, we may possibly call on you guys again for a future presentation. But for now, thank you. And thank you all students for attending. As said before, should you have any queries with regards to job fair, you can feel free to drop me an email. I will leave my email in the chat. And so thank you all for coming to another session. And we'll see you all again same time next week for another in the series. Thank you. As well, quick reminder to fill out the evaluation and the register, which are accessed via Google Docs. I will also recopy the links as well. Thank you guys again for coming, and hopefully you guys will attend next week's session. All right, bye.
Okay, sir. Bye. Bye, everybody.